Good morning, Jess. It's lovely to have you join us for the Ordinary Stories project. Could you just introduce yourselves for those of us who don't know you?
I'm Jess. I'm part of the congregation here at Emmanuel and like to get involved in lots of things at church. So hopefully I've seen quite a few people around, but
wonderful.
Yeah, Jess.
Great. Now, Jess, the big idea for this project is that we share with each other the difference that God has made in our lives. So how do you want to explore that question this morning?
So I think what I want to kind of look at this morning is how I see God just in my everyday life and just where I see him working and where I remember to tune in to where he is. So I really love Psalm 139 that tells us that we're never far from God and we can never be away from his presence. But I think it does sometimes take a bit more work to really notice where he is and where he's working.
That's really helpful, and I think that you would like to share a particular kind of way of thinking about these things that you've found useful.
Yeah, so one of the things I try and do a few times a week is called the Examine, and it's a spiritual practice, and it's just inviting God into a time of reflection, and just thinking back on your day or on your week of where God has been working, and then it's a really good time just to really see where God was and spend that time doing that. So what I would normally do is I would probably normally do it a few times a week on an evening before I go to bed. That's when I tend to do it. Mm-hmm. But I thought today I will look back at the past week and kind of go through how I do the Examine, and I guess share that with you and bring you along.
Would be amazing. That would be amazing. We're in your hands.
Great, thanks. So I tend to start with just a moment of quiet and inviting God into this time of reflection. Sometimes just start with a prayer and just a moment of quiet and just inviting God into this time. Dear God, thank you that you are with us always. Thank you that you are here whenever I turn to you, and when I don't turn to you, you're still there and you're still working your goodness and your glory. Lord, thank you that you are a God that I can turn to, and that you offer guidance and you offer advice and you offer love, and that's never ending. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into a time of gratitude and look back over this week, and I find it quite helpful to use the fruits of the Spirit, so that are found in Galatians 5:22. So looking back over this week, I try and think to myself, where have I noticed love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness and self-control. Sometimes I just choose a few of those. Sometimes try and challenge myself to start at the end of the list, especially with the self-control, because it's not always the easiest one I find. So try and go both ways with the list, but today I'll start at the beginning. So this week, where have I noticed love? Yesterday was having a really rough day. I was not feeling very well. I had a massive work project that ended up taking a lot more time than I was expecting, and my glasses broke, which was it was not a great day. But as I reflected on it, I got home really late from work and I'd not eaten, and I'd kind of just really not been feeling very well. And I got home and I was so thankful that there was a plate of dinner on the side ready to be reheated, and I really needed that, and I was just really saw the love of friends that have left that and prepared that for me and thought of me and left that out, but also really noticed God's love in that and just that care of, this is what you need and here it is ready for you. Thinking now to a time of kindness, when have I noticed that this week? So this week I was helping cook for Alpha, which is happening at Emmanuel, and I'd made a curry in advance ready, and I was going to make rice here, and rice is often quite tricky to cook for lots of people, so this is the bit that I was really quite stressed about. I'd not done it in advance. And then one of my lovely friends arrived early to come and help me. She came an hour earlier than I'd asked her to come. I'd asked her to help set up, and she said, "Oh, what can I help you with?" And I said, "Oh, well, I'm just about to cook some rice. I'm a bit worried about making it, but maybe you could help with getting the plates out and things." And she said, "Oh no, I've cooked rice lots of times. Leave me to it." And she just took the pan away from me, took the rice, and just cooked it. And just that kindness of just taking that on, and she just said to me, "No, you don't need to do anything, just leave me to this and I'll do that." So I really noticed her kindness there, of just taking on that bit that I was a bit concerned about. Yes, and just seeing how God works through friends and how he offers that kindness through other people. And then thinking to a time this week where I've noticed peace. I try quite hard to have a day of rest. I think rest is really important, and something that I know that I struggle with a little bit is that I want to do things and to be busy all the time and to always be working towards something. So I guess I've challenged myself, and through a lot of prayer and with God's help, to have a day a week where I just try really hard to rest, and just to notice, and just to sit in that rest and sit in that unproductive phase, which is quite hard, but I really notice the peace that comes with that. So I've also tried really hard to limit screen times on my rest day, but I've really noticed over the past few weeks especially, but this sense of peace that comes with this day of rest, this intentional day of rest. So last Saturday was my rest day, and yeah, I just really noticed this overwhelming peace that could only be from God. So I had a really lovely day. I did some reading, I saw a friend, and sat and did a lot of a Lego set. and just really felt peaceful during that time. So I guess maybe I'll just leave it there for today with the examine. But yes, it's something that I do that helps with noticing where God is in my everyday. Sometimes I do it looking back at the day, sometimes I do it looking back at the week. And it's also a practice that can be done where you can think about what was hard. Where did you see the opposite of these fruits of the Spirit? And just that time to be with God and to reflect with God. And I've also found that really helpful.
Yeah. That's extremely helpful. I know what I'll be doing tonight. Really helpful. So just to conclude, a verse or a word of encouragement that you have been holding in your heart recently.
Yeah, so I find that God speaks to me through repetition, and sometimes that's repetition of phrases, and sometimes that's of scripture. So at the moment, God's been repeating to me multiple times from various verses in the Bible about how we are, and I am his daughter, and that I don't need to walk in the darkness anymore, but that we are made to walk in the light, and he leads us into that light, and we can walk in lightness. And then just kind of thinking about how that changes everything that I do, everything that I go about. Like, I don't need to walk in the darkness, not really knowing where I'm going, but I can walk in the light of life and to walk. And we can all do that. We can, as his children, we can walk in the lightness.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Jess, for your time.
Thank you.